Okay, so we're picking up our development here where our character is going to fall to the ground using gravity. They're going to detect a ground tile set, and we are going to be able to run left and right. Taking a long time to load there. Okay, here we go. This is what we have. Let's add a jump. Okay, so let's go back to our player object. We are going to scroll to the top here, and we are going to jump in, and we're going to say we need a jump speed, and we are going to set that to, let's try 10. We can always tweak these things later on. That's going to require a different key on the keyboard. So let's say jump key, and that's going to be set to 0 to the start. Okay, let's scroll down to our step event. So here we've got our player movement input. So let's go and add in our jump key, and we're going to say keyboard. This time it's going to be a little bit different. Keyboard check allows us to hold down the key, and it will keep on applying that information. With the jump key, we only want to check when it's pressed individual times. So we are going to go for keyboard check underscore pressed. So it's a little bit different. So it's ORD, so that we can access our kind of keyboard letters here. And we're going to use W, which is like the up of WASD. That's going to be our jump. And then we're going to hit semicolon there. So we've taken in the input. So now we need to actually like do something with it. So let's see what that can be. I'm going to scroll down to, let me see, in here, and I'm going to say if, open up here, if my jump key is pressed, which means it's kind of true, or it's got a 1 stored in it, then I'm going to alter the Y speed. And before we've used plus equals, this time we're going to do minus equals, and I can add in my jump speed, because remember, moving up in our coordinate system is actually going lower Y, so we want to do minus 10, so our character should move up. Let's see what happens. Because we're not all the way there yet. Computer's kind of slow today. Really weird. Okay, it's getting there. I guess if this ever happens to you, what I would advise doing is just to save it and then go up here, close it, and then open it again. That's what I'm going to do after this. Okay, so we're moving. Hey, there's our jump. Still looks a little bit weird, but it's working. Okay, let's see if we can make our jump a little bit better. So first up, I'm going to do a quick save. I'm going to close it. I'm going to reopen and see if that's going to fix our long kind of game run times. Okay. How can we make our jump better? So if we go back and have a look again, we've actually got in our player sprites, we've got a jump sprite. So this one's got no animation. It's just basically a different appearance. So let's try and make use of it anyway. So if I go, oh, not there. I want to look at my code here. Down at the bottom, this is where we are changing our sprite animations. So I guess we need a way of kind of detecting when we are in the air and automatically using like the jump sprite when we're in the air. Even when we drop there at the start, it'd be nice if we were using the jump sprite. So we need a way of basically checking if we're on the ground, we're idling. If we're in the air, we've got the jump sprite. So how can we go about doing that? So let's add some code in here, and let's say ground check. And it's going to be simple. We need to make a variable for this actually, and we are going to add this in up here, and let's say on ground. Be as descriptive as we can. And we're going to make this a Boolean variable, so it's like a true or false. Okay, so we're going to start it off as being false. And then let's go and actually figure out whereabouts in the world we are. So the way that we can do this is with another if statement. Oh, sorry, using the place meeting that we used before for our collision detection. So let's say on ground is equal to, and then we use place meeting. And then we're going to say our x coordinate, and then we've got our y coordinate, and then we're going to plus 1 pixel, which means that if we check 1 pixel lower down than we actually are, if there's a collision there, that means that we are on the ground. We're 1 pixel away from the ground. And then finally here we need to tell it what it's looking for. So it's looking for that ground tile map. And then, yeah, it should now have a variable that's going to alternate between true or false depending on the outcome of this function. So let's go and figure out how we can work that into our animation stuff down here. So we've got the X speed part of it, which is going to say walking or idling. But we need to come in and we need to figure out, first of all, let me see, if we are on the ground, and I could go in here and say equals true, but by default, if you don't type in anything, it's going to assume it's true. Okay. To make it more readable, you could add in true there, but let's just keep our code as concise as we possibly can. So if we're on the ground is true, do whatever is inside these kind of curly brackets. So I'm going to grab this other code that we have, and I'm going to Command X. I'm going to do this bit here, and I'm going to tab this along. There we go. And lining up my brackets here. So if this condition is met, do this. Otherwise, do this. So if we're on the ground, we can obviously run. If we're not on the ground, then let's do what's in here. In this case, we can say sprite index, which is going to let us choose our sprite, and we're going to say player jump. Oh, semicolon. So let's run this. So when our player's in the air, he's got that jump. But I don't really like that. It looks kind of like weird. I'll not say what it looks like to me, but yeah, it looks weird. So let's close that. If I remember correctly, the fall sprite is actually a lot cooler, and it does have an animation. So let's actually use that instead. Object player. So if we're in the air, we are falling. Okay. Yep, that looks nice. Very happy with that. Only a little bit more to go until we've got like the basis of our character movement.